To my knowledge, I believe that this recommendation gets to the attention of the principal. Her name is O. Joy Smith. And that letter or recommendation, I believe, it's what ticked or set that principal off. It came to my understanding that she was overjealous and she she would do anything, in fact, to stop me from advancing in the field of education. All right. Now let me point out something else here, which you might say that is not related. The principal was aware that my daughter was living in Chicago, Illinois. Prior to the week, prior to November 2004, my daughter was reported missing. She was reported missing for about 3 weeks to the Chicago Public Police Department. Now, this principal, O. Joy Smith, I could recall on one occasion, somewhere in 2004, she asked me, "Why is my daughter kept missing?" No problem that she asked such a question, but it made me think that she might be shifting her focus on me and, of course, my intent to do a PhD at Harvard. And a lot of things were going on then. It appears that after the principal became aware of that recommendation I received from the assistant principal, she became aware of that. She must have made contact with this so-called politician that I call Sotero about my intent to go to Harvard. I believe that recommendation to pursue a PhD at Harvard School of Education must have made this Soterio a hardly hard off politician. That might have made him become obsessed with that college. He must have been thinking that, I would say, he must have been thinking that, how could I be going to Harvard when he could not have made it there? Well, let me just digress from this a little bit and go back to the topic about the missing of my daughter for 3 weeks and focus on what happened and who must have been involved. Because at that time, I had a little bit of argument with my landlord, and that my landlord was seeking, was peddling false news, false information, um, sending derogatory messages about me, and so on. Um, so at that same time, Superior he was collaborating with my landlord quite a lot. Think about it. Not long after this ordeal, this politician stalked me in that Greyhound bus from Chicago to Los Angeles. You know, I felt as if I was being harassed and terrorized in that Greyhound bus that traveled from Chicago to Los Angeles. I felt as if I was being harassed. Now, that was not all. While I was stuck on the bus going, I must admit that on the return trip, I was also stalked, but not by him, but by someone else who was set up to stalk me back from Los Angeles to Chicago. And that became evident because the person who was on that bus on the return trip started to yell about the Chicago return trip, where he was coming off, and so on. Well, I will talk more about this later on. So let me stop here and think about this.